Very warm greetings to all from SIDDHAM, Institute of Indic and Intercultural Studies, nestled in the heart of Varanasi, the spiritual capital of India, working tenaciously in teaching various courses and running lecture series, various other transliteration courses to protect our ancient heritage. Welcome to the third session of our online lecture series, Dhvani. Lecture title as From Altars to Algorithms, the Symbiosis of Religion and Mathematics in Cultural Practices. I would like to extend my heartfelt greetings to our chairperson and Secretary General, Dr. Anirban Das, Program Director, Dr. Vibha Pandey, our founding committee member, Dr. Uttam Singh ji, and all other founding committee members and participants for showing such zeal and enthusiasm in joining us today. I would like to invite our founding committee member, Dr. Uttam Singh ji, to please introduce about SIDDHAM and introduce about our esteemed guest and speaker. Sir.
विधूत कल्पना जाल गंभीरोदार मूर्तये नमः समंत भद्राय समंत स्फरणतिसे सर्वेभ्यो नमो नमः। सिद्धम संस्थान द्वारा आयोजित इस ऑनलाइन व्याख्यान कार्यक्रम में आप सभी का हम स्वागत करते हैं, अभिनंदन करते हैं। दरअसल सिद्धम संस्थान विगत 5 वर्षों से अनेक विध विषयों पर ऑनलाइन माध्यम से तथा ऑफलाइन माध्यम से समय समय पर भारत के प्रसिद्ध विद्वानों के व्याख्यान कराता रहता है और भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के संरक्षण, संवर्धन, प्रचार प्रसार के उद्देश्य से भी अनेक विध पांडुलिपि एवं प्राचीन लिपियों के अध्ययन अध्यापन के से संबंधित कार्यशालाएं भी सिद्धम संस्थान ने आयोजित की हैं और विशेष रूप से आयुर्वेद के शास्त्रों को, पांडुलिपियों को कैसे संपादित, प्रकाशित किया जाए, इस विषय को भी आधार बना करके लगभग पूरे भारतवर्ष से 100 आयुर्वेद के डॉक्टर्स को सिद्धम संस्थान ने एक टीम बना करके हमारे साथ जोड़ करके प्रशिक्षित किया है कि किस प्रकार से आयुर्वेद की पांडुलिपियों को संपादित किया जाए। तो इसी कड़ी के तहत आज सिद्धम संस्थान ने एक जो है बड़े ही महत्वपूर्ण विषय पर ये जो व्याख्यान का आयोजन किया है। इस व्याख्यान के अवसर पर हमारे बीच उपस्थित हैं प्रमुख वक्ता के रूप में डॉक्टर प्रगति गौतम मैम। हम मैम का स्वागत करते हैं, अभिनंदन करते हैं हमारे सिद्धम संस्थान की ओर से एवं इस कार्यक्रम में जुड़े हुए समस्त प्रतिभागियों की ओर से। हम मैम आपका हृदय से स्वागत करते हैं, अभिनंदन करते हैं।
धन्यवाद।
आप मैम का अगर मैं परिचय दूं, दरअसल आप जो हैं विगत कई वर्षों से भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के संवर्धन के और प्रचार प्रसार के कार्य में संलग्न हैं। दिल्ली विश्वविद्यालय के तहत कमला नेहरू जो कॉलेज हैं, वहां आप सेवा प्रदान कर रहे हैं और विगत 6 वर्षों से आप अपने विभाग के विभागाध्यक्ष के रूप में विभाग को, अपने डिपार्टमेंट को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। मैडम, मैथमेटिक्स विषय में आप जो हैं आपकी विशेष एक्सपर्टीज हैं और आप फिक्स्ड पॉइंट थ्योरी के आप जो हैं एक्सपर्ट हैं। आपके अभी तक 30 से अधिक शोध पत्र, आर्टिकल्स प्रकाशित हो चुके हैं और 5 पुस्तकों के आप ऑथर हैं। अभी तक आपने जो है बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण 5 पुस्तकों का आपके जो है हाथों से संपादन हुआ है, लेखन हुआ है। तो आज हमें आपका व्याख्यान सुनने का अवसर प्राप्त हुआ है। ये हमारा सौभाग्य है, आपने हमारे सिद्धम संस्थान के अनुरोध को, निमंत्रण को स्वीकार किया। ये इसके लिए हम आपका हृदय से आभार भी व्यक्त करते हैं।
बहुत बहुत
आपके
आभार।
निर्देशन में अनेकविध पत्र पत्रिकाओं का संपादन हो रहा है, प्रकाशन हो रहा है। आप स्वयं उन पत्रिकाओं में मार्गदर्शन प्रदान कर रहे हैं एवं कुछ में आप संपादक के रूप में, सह संपादक के रूप में भी कार्य कर रहे हैं। तो आज हमें आपका व्याख्यान सुनने का जो अवसर प्राप्त हुआ है, हम सभी, हमारे प्रतिभागियों की ओर से, हमारे सिद्धम संस्थान की ओर से हम आपका स्वागत एवं अभिनंदन करते हैं। स्वागत और अभिनंदन। इसी के साथ ही मैं अपनी वाणी को विराम देता हूँ। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आप सभी का। सिद्धम टीवी की तरफ से मुझे ये अवसर प्राप्त हुआ कि मैं आज एक टॉपिक जो कि हमारी परंपराओं से जुड़ा हुआ है, एंशिएंट इंडियन मैथमेटिक्स, उस पे मेरा कुछ काम है। मैंने कुछ रिसर्च करा है, कुछ आर्टिकल्स पढ़े हैं और मेरी इसमें काफी रुचि है। तो मैं उसी के बारे में आज आप लोगों के बीच कुछ शेयर करूंगी। और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद उत्तम सिंह जी, इतना अच्छा परिचय देने के लिए, और सिद्धम टीवी का मैं आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ। तो इसी के साथ मैं अपना आज का लेक्चर सीरीज स्टार्ट करती हूँ। मैं एक पीपीटी इसमें शेयर करूंगी आप लोगों के साथ जो मेरे टॉपिक से रिलेटेड है। स्क्रीन दिख रहा है क्या सभी को?
Yes, ma'am.
जी,
Perfect. We can go ahead.
जी।
ओके, ठीक है। तो मेरा आज का ये जो लेक्चर है ये इंग्लिश में है। मैंने उसी में प्रिपेयर किया है। So the topic of my lecture for today is From Altars to Algorithms, the Symbiosis of Religion and Mathematics in Cultural Practices. So the basic interest in this topic is, like, I want to tell the story how altars are the Rangoli. We started from Rangoli, the origin of mathematics. It is basically in ancient India, it is on the geometrical patterns. So it started from altars and how we moved to the algorithms, the calculations. And I will also be discussing about the symbiosis of religion and mathematics. What is a sharing point between mathematics and religion? What is common between the two? And how the two are different in their spheres. So this is my topic for today. I hope it will be of interest to you and it will throw some light on how the ancient mathematics, it developed from the geometrical patterns, from the geometrical cultures, and where is it today now? So when I talk of religion and mathematics, now the two are totally different spheres. One side we have religion, okay, and some of you might thought that what connection religion might have with mathematics. But yes, they are related in some sense. So as I have mentioned here, mathematics and religion are taken as two diametrically opposite domains. They are opposite. But in mathematics, we talk of certainty. Mathematics is a science where we talk of exactness. We talk of precision, certainty. Whereas when we talk of religion, so what comes to our mind when we talk of religion? It deals with the divine power. It deals with the supernatural power. By religion, we talk of faith. People may have different religion. They may practice different religion. So, it is a matter of faith in what you believe. There are different form of worships. There are different ways of worship. So this way, religion has its own sphere. It has its own origin as well as its diameter. Whereas when we talk of mathematics, it is a subject of study. We study mathematics. We study about numbers. Mathematics, when you talk of this word, what comes in our mind first? It comes, what is mathematics? It is the numbers that we are dealing with. Now, the second question that I'm working on here is, are religion and mathematics paradoxical? Mathematics being extremely certain, yet there are a lot of questions that we call meta-mathematical questions, which are totally uncertain. What happens when we talk of mathematics? When people say that it is exact, it is mainly that they know very less about mathematics. It is like they have a very precise knowledge of mathematics. Mathematics as such is not only about exactness. It has so many mathematical questions which are still uncertain. You know, mathematics has different levels of study. When maths is being taught in 9th and 10th, it has very exact topics. Okay, like what we study in 9th and 10th, it is basically simple interest, profit and loss, discount, all require a certain formula and calculations. Okay, so what is taught to the students? That you should get a correct answer. You will have a knowledge of this topic only when you are giving a correct answer, when you are calculating it correctly. When we come to 11th and 12th, mathematics changes. How the topics are different from 9th and 10th. Students study linear programming. They study probability theory. Okay, now probability theory. The word probability means uncertain. Probability is, it talks of uncertainty. So one might wonder, like in mathematics, where is the space for this uncertainty? Have you ever thought that if we are working on exactness and if we are not able to approach the exact result, then what will happen? So it is the probability theory that so many things depend on. When there is a shortage of exactness, or when we say that exactness is missing, or we are not able to approach to the exact result, then it is the probability theory on which we depend, on which we rely. If we calculate what probability, when we teach this, the first question that comes to our mind, first example that we quote in our class is, what is the probability that it will rain today? So it is the chance. What is the chance of raining today? Means how much percentage of it is likely that it will rain today. So why I'm giving you this example to tell you that mathematics itself has its branches which are not exact, which are not certain. Now, mathematicians, they say mathematics is the study of infinity. This is a very beautiful line. Mathematics is study of infinity. See, and infinity, what is it? It is totally uncertain. Religion, it also looks at infinity. God, It is supposed to be of infinite quality, omnipotent, okay, and omnipresent. God is present everywhere. That is our faith. That is how religion looks at God, the supernatural power, isn't it? So here is the comparison between this religion and mathematics. When I draw a close relation between the two, we say on the surface, both these areas of human recognition appear quite different and unrelated to each other. But if one start observing the things bit carefully, then very interesting things begin to unfold. Okay, so that is where I'm drawing your attention today, that how the two are related to each other. There are certain geometrical shapes which are considered very auspicious and significant in all the religions. One cannot think of drawing religious symbols without geometrical precision. This you all will agree with me. Religious symbol. They talk of piousness, purity. And whenever we are drawing a religious symbol, say for example, we are drawing swastik. So you must be knowing about it. That swastik, it has to be a proper, the lines have to be accurate. They have to be symmetric. Swastik is never drawn unsymmetrically. It is drawn in a symmetric way. All like two lines we draw, and then the four lines that are extended, they are symmetrical. That is considered pious for religious purpose. Same way, while performing rituals or on festive occasions, we decorate the surface with geometrical patterns that we call altars or we call rangoli. I'll also be talking about fire altars in my presentation. Okay, so that is all how the religious symbol, they use geometrical precisions. Gems in certain are thought more effective as compared to others. Astrology and numerology, they rely on certain calculations. Okay, you must be aware of this, that gems. Sometimes it's a square that you have to wear. Sometimes you have to wear it in round shape. And they tell you how is it related to astrology. The planets, the 9 planets that are there. And what effect they have on uh, what you say, uh, the life of a person. Okay, so it also makes use of mathematics. Here, what, as you must be aware by now, I'm talking of basically how the mathematics developed in ancient times, and especially geometry, how it developed in ancient India. We'll be discussing some Harappan civilization and Vedic age, and how geometry flourished in those civilizations. Mathematics is a socio-cultural construct, and it evolved differently in different cultures. I'll be talking of the different religions. Okay, I'll be telling you how different cultures, they make use of mathematics. So we are right here when we are saying it not only influences, but also gets influenced by the particular socio-cultural environment of which religion is an integral part. The relationship between mathematics and religion, it is profound and multifaceted. In many ancient civilizations, mathematics was viewed not as a way to understand the physical world, but also as a path to spiritual enlightenment. Okay, like I'll tell you how the use of mathematics was done in the worshipping, means in the construction of fire altars and the performance of various rituals. So mathematics is not just used to understand the metaphysical world, but also how to enlighten oneself spiritually. Civilizations such as Egypt, Greece, and India, they saw numbers, geometry, and mathematical patterns as reflections of divine order. This approach led to the development of various religious and philosophical doctrines, where mathematics became central to interpreting the cosmos and the divine. Now, what happened? As I'm telling you that mathematics is also used as a spiritual tool. Egyptians, they used geometry to construct their temples and pyramids with precise measurements. Now, you ever thought of there's a particular structure of temple. When we talk of temple, a particular shape comes in our mind. Do you remember the dome of the temple? Okay, the way the dome of the temple is. If you see any temple, you will identify it as a temple. If you look at mosque, you will identify it's a mosque. Same thing for the Gurudwara. So there's a particular shape, a particular geometry, which is associated to these temples. Now, have you ever thought why that particular shape? And that too, that shape is symmetrical. It has symmetry. See, symmetry is based on the measurements, isn't it? When we talk of symmetry, it is the measurements that we are talking of. So you notice any holy place, whether it is a temple, it is a mosque, it is a gurudwara, any holy place. So you will see that the pattern is symmetrical. The what you say, the shape is totally made by measurements, precise measurements are there.
जी मैम नमस्कार।
So,
मैम आप क्या
हाँ, sir.
स्क्रीन शेयर भी कर रही हैं मैम? क्योंकि हमें सिर्फ आपका जो फर्स्ट स्टार्टिंग जो है स्क्रीन का वही दिख रहा है।
अच्छा, नहीं स्क्रीन हम शेयर कर रहे हैं, आगे बढ़ रहा है।
तो
मैं एक
स्क्रीन
मिनट चेक
नहीं।
करती हूँ।
जी जी एक बार चेक कर लीजिए।
मैं दोबारा शेयर करती हूँ। सर दिख रहा है आपको?
जी जी मैम, जी जी दिखा है, अभी दिख रहा है जी।
अच्छा,
जी
ठीक है। So, like, so here what I was discussing is how mathematics is being used as a spiritual tool. Okay, and I was telling you about the Egyptians, that how they use geometry to construct their temples and pyramids with precise measurements, believing these structures to embody divine harmony. What I want to tell you here is that symmetry, measurement, they all play a very important role when it comes to worshipping. Okay, because it is believed that if a certain symmetrical objects are constructed, then they will have positive vibrations. Okay, so it is related to the vibrations of a place. It is related to divine power of a place. Okay, what happened in Egypt? They used geometry in the pyramid construction, symbolizing the eternal. Okay, the meaning of this is that they paid so much attention to geometry in the pyramid construction. Then Greece, what they did, Pythagorean believed that numbers govern the universe. And in India, we use sacred numbers in religious rituals and temple designs. Now I'm changing the slide and let me know if it is visible. ये नया वाला दिख रहा है slide?
No, ma'am, there is no. Yes, ma'am, now it is.
Okay. So, in this, I'm talking of the Pythagoras and the mysticism of numbers. Now, Pythagoras, you all must have heard the name of Pythagoras. So, Pythagoras, the main idea of Pythagoras was everything is number. He talked in terms of mathematics, he talked in terms of number. Okay. So, Pythagoras and his followers, they are the prime examples of blending of mathematical and spiritual thought. They believed that numbers were the essence of all things and universe could be understood through mathematical relationship. So numbers, they were not just abstract symbol, but they represent the cosmic order. So, you can see here, you can get some sense. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, you can go ahead.
Okay. So, I'm telling you about how Pythagoras was of the view that, numbers, they can take you to spiritual world. And it is like they talk of philosophy connected with mathematics. Is the screen visible? Now it's a different slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So here I'm talking of the harmony of the spheres. The Pythagoras believed that the entire universe was ordered and structured by numbers, a principle they extended into the theory of harmony of spheres. They talk of the planets, the stars, the celestial bodies, how they are moving in precise mathematical orbits. Now, this is something very interesting. The planets. We all have studied about the planets. We know there are 9 planets. And in lower classes, you also study about the shape of the planets, the structure. And there is an orbit through which the planets are moving. They are moving around the sun in an elliptical orbit, in an elliptical path. Now, you will wonder that it is also symmetrical. There is a precise measurement of the distance. Every planet is at a particular distance from the sun, and that affects the constitution of the planet. Mars being close to the sun, it will have a different type of environment. And if we talk of Pluto, so it will have a different type of environment. It all depends on the precision, the distance from the sun. So is mathematics not involved here? See, as a mathematician, when I'm talking of mathematics, from my point of view, I see maths in every, in every particle, every object, and we can relate it to how precision is there. When I talk of precision, it is the exactness. How does the shape affect the properties of an object? So this is how I'm connecting the two, how the mathematics share its relationships with the religion, how it talks of divinity. Now, there is one more thing that I've mentioned here. The harmony of spheres thus connected astronomy, music, and spirituality. Music is not far behind. When we talk of music, music is totally mathematical. Now, I'm making such statements. I'm saying music is totally mathematical. Yes. What is the notes, the rhymes, isn't it? Every note, sa, re, ga, ma, okay, it talks of mathematics. Everything is, even the musical instruments, the percussions, the guitar, the sitar, there's a particular length of the wire that is used, and it's a particular thickness of the wire that has to be present in order to make it a musical instrument. Now, it's another slide that I'm sharing. The number one is unit. This is Pythagoras. How they started, that time, this type of maths, the present mathematics that we are doing, its origin is from, Pythagoreans. So they said that number one, it represents unity. Unity means the origin of all existence. That means the divine source. How there is a divine source and everything flows from that divine source. Number two is duality. Duality is the balance of opposites. Duality means two. Okay, so they talk of two in the sense that it is a balance of opposites, the light and the dark, or the male and the female. Okay, the two opposites. Three stood for harmony. Harmony is the peace. Four signifies order and stability. So this way they have, given specific reason to a number. For them, number is basically representing certain things. Okay. They even talk of tetrasets. What is it? It is a triangular figure with 10 points and 4 rows. I was trying to, draw it or look for the picture of a tetraset here to show you, but like it was not a very clear picture to put in the PPT. Okay, so I can just tell you it's a triangular figure with 10 points and 4 rows, and it is basically representing a cosmic structure. And it tells you how the creation is totally balanced. When God created the world, he created balance. He created harmony. Okay, he created everything in symmetry. And symmetry is which is peaceful. Symmetry is which is enlightening. Symmetry is which takes you to a spiritual world. Okay, so this is how mathematics has its great base in religion. And religion, it has its you can say religion has a great influence on the this subject, mathematics. When we talk of the legacy of the Pythagorean philosophy of numbers, it played a foundational role in shaping both the scientific and theological thought. The philosophers like Plato, okay? Plato, he was a great philosopher. He was influenced by the belief of Pythagorean, and he talked of mathematical forms. He used these mathematical forms to develop the metaphysical theories. Okay. Then the Pythagoras ideas also found a place in mystical and religious traditions. Pythagoras' vision, it tells us about how mathematical thinking can guide a profound exploration of existence. You know, philosophy and mathematics. Philosophy has its influence from religion. Now, philosophy has its base from mathematics. How? Both are influencing each other. Many theories that we talk of in philosophy, they originated actually from the mathematical thinking. So, see, when we talk of these subjects, they are interdependent on each other. We are not talking in like terms of studying any one subject separately. So therefore, mathematics is regarded as a universal language. I hope the new PPT new slide is visible. I'm talking of mathematics being regarded as a universal language. A system that transcends cultural, linguistic, and religious barriers. The precise and the consistent nature allows it to describe the natural world in a way that is universally understood, regardless of the geographic or cultural context. So it provides a universal language in which we can understand the origin of many phenomena. See, I'm also discussing about mathematics and the divine. So this is a very beautiful concept here. The view of mathematics aligns, it aligns with the Platonic philosophy that mathematical objects such as numbers in geometric forms, they exist in a separate perfect realm beyond the physical world. Now, we have already talked of Plato. He believed that these forms, they were the ultimate reality. How? They give way to the religious traditions. Okay. Now, after this, I've already given you an idea of how we are connecting mathematics, religion, spiritualism, and divinity. I want to draw your attention to the fire altars because that's a very interesting concept I want to discuss here. Maybe I'll come back to these slides afterward. This is the astrology part. Yeah. A new slide. I'm putting geometrical shapes in religious ritual. I hope it's visible.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you know, fire altars. This is of great interest. And, you know, I really like this topic, fire altars. Now, what are fire altars? You know, it's a Havan Kund type of thing. It's a Havan Kund. Okay. Now, when we perform Havan nowadays, it is generally Havan Kund is available or like the bricks are placed in a proper order. Okay. And sometimes, you know, the pujari, he draws using uh, using atta and other colors, or haldi, or sometimes he makes some navgrah, and uh, s- uh, they place the god virtually, and then they start the puja. But in ancient times, people were very particular about the puja, the worshipping the fire altars. This picture that you can see, it is an ancient fire altars. There were bricks put in particular order. There was a number of the bricks that have to be put. The precision is so much that, every brick is symmetrical in shape. It was placed in a particular order, and havans were performed, yajnas were performed before, a king uh, leaves for a war. Okay, so for every type of puja, there were fire altars. From 1961 to 69, archaeological excavations were done at Kalibangan, which is situated on the bank of Ghagar River in Rajasthan. Now, Kalibangan, it is a site which developed in the late Harappan phase, and it dates from 2300 BC to 1750 BC. One of the pits lined with baked bricks. Baked brick, you understand? Okay, baked brick. Uh, it because the havan was performed, so it was the brick was with the it was baked because of that fire. It also contained bones of a bovine. Bovine is a type of a pig, and antlers. Antler is an animal, a wild animal with a horn on the nose. So the bones were found in these fire altars. You can even see in the picture. I could manage to get this picture. It represents a sacrifice. So for sacrifice, animals were, used for sacrifice for performing the pujas in these fire altars, so that the desired results can be obtained. Note this line, so that the desired results could be attained, for that the puja is done. Even today, we perform certain puja for fulfillment of certain desire accordingly. 7 fire altars in a row along with a well have also been found. Now, very interesting again, types of fire altars. You can see the different shapes. I hope it's visible, different shapes. The altars.
Yep.
Okay, there's a chariot wheel. There's a trough. There's a circle. You can see the circle. There's a square fire altar. An isosceles triangle. And a larger bird. You can see this bird. The bird is the alaja bird. Falcon. Falcon is uh, जिसे हम आज uh, uh, बोलते हैं हॉक, है ना, जो birds का king. Okay, so this is a larger bird. Even fire altars were constructed in the shape of a larger bird, and you can see different colors here. So different colors were used, and you can see the geometry involved. The body of this falcon, it is of square bricks. There are rectangular bricks. There are triangular bricks. Triangle, right angle triangle. Can you see right angle triangle? There is rectangle. There is different shape of triangles. Can you imagine how much geometry was known to our ancestors? Without any formal education in mathematics, without any formal education in geometry, they had this idea of precision. So, this particular larger bird, this fire altar was used uh, by a king for performing a havan before going to a war, so that he returns victorious. Okay, So same way, different shapes were meant for different purposes. Vedic period and geometry, we find the mention of the formulas in Samved, in Yajurved. Yajurved contain formulas which are recited by an official priest. Okay, even Samved, it contained formulas which were sung by the chanting priest. Atharved, it's a collection of magic spells and the healing herbs. This is again, we are discussing the Vedis. Altars, there is another name for altar, that is the Vedis. They were mainly used for sacrificial rituals, required precise geometric calculations. These texts also talk of the knowledge of constructing right angles. They talk of how the right angles were constructed. What is Pythagoras theorem? You know, very simple theorem which is taught to students in class 7th. Hypotenuse square is equal to perpendicular square plus base square. Now, and it is only applied when a triangle has a right angle, a 90-degree angle. Okay, so this theorem was there in existence before it was actually formulated by Pythagoras. Pythagoras formulated it later, but it was being used much before. This practical application of geometry, it highlights the advanced mathematical understanding of Vedic scholars, which was again driven by the ritualistic and astronomical requirements of their time. Shulbha Sutra. Okay, we talk of Shulbha Sutra. It finds its mention in Vedas. We talk of it in Sanskrit. Okay, because why Sanskrit? Because Sanskrit is the language mostly in the Vedas. So Shulbha Sutra. Now this Shulbha, it means measure. It means to measure. So geometry, the word geometry, you know, it was in ancient times, it was known as Rajjo. Rajjo means a rope or an instrument of measuring. And Shulbha Sutra, it means a short rule. You know, in earlier times, the ancient method of measurement, what was it? It was cords with knots, isn't it? Like a cord was taken and there was a knot which was tied to it. It represents different measurement. Even bamboos with cuts, they were the instruments which were used for measurements in ancient period. This is again a picture of, how the Havan Kunds, these fire altars were constructed and yags were performed. There was a tradition of performing religious rites called yagnas or fire sacrifices. For this, the altars were constructed on which ceremonies were performed. And we talk of the importance of these sacrificial altars. It is in the fact that their construction gave on one hand a great impetus to the study of geometry and measurement of areas, and on the other hand, it supplied the prototypes of later architectural developments. Asha, just one more thing interesting here is some rituals that were performed at an altar where food was offered, and in some of them, even animals were sacrificed. I have already mentioned about the um, skeleton of bovine and other animals which were found as a sacrifice, and food was offered, and it was all to please the god, so that gods are pleased and the desired wishes are fulfilled. Features of the Vedas. If you have a look at the feature of the Veda here, you can see the geometry involved. This is a Mahavedi. Mahavedi was usually narrow in the middle, and it was called Mahavedi, or the great or the entire altar. One was Uttaradi. It was the northern altar made for the sacred fire. Drona. Drona was a dish type of altar. Dishnya. Dishnya again, Dishnya is a direction thing, So it's a side altar. It is generally a heap of earth covered with sand on which the fire was placed. Then same way, there were different altars. There was Agni Sayan ritual, Agni Sayan altar. There was this, yes, they talk of, the worship was of two types, Kamya and Nitya. Nitya was the daily worship. Okay. It was for the happiness of the family, for the happiness of the well-being. As we do today, we do daily puja. And Kamya was for the fulfillment of a special wish. Like, if a king desires a son, and that too a brave son. So there was a particular puja on a particular fire altar, which was performed so that the desired goals are attained. Here we are talking of the geometry which is involved in the Vedis. You can see that how the bricks were of different shapes, and every even if it is a triangle, it is of particular measurement. A square, a rectangle. Okay. So this type, great emphasis was on the measurements, the symmetry of the bricks. For the determination of time and orientation in the Indian tradition, gnomons and ropes were used. We know that earlier the measuring instrument was the rope or the cut bamboos. Okay. Gnomons means an object which is used as an indicator of the hour of the day by the length of its shadow. These were the ancient methods for the measurement of time. This I've already discussed. I've talked of the Uttravedi, the Kamya, Agni, okay, the Mahavedi, and you must have got an idea like how mathematics and geometry, it had played its role in the ancient worshipping techniques. See, here we talk of the rule. The area of the altar prescribed is 7.5 square purusas. Purusas is an ancient method of measurement. Other altar with an area of 8.5 purusas, 9.5 purusas, So this way, and the normal height of an Agni is 1 Janu, again a unit of measurement, which is equal to 32 angulas. Angulas, you will understand. The finger. They were using the fingers to measure. The hand, the measurement of the hand, like a wrist was used for measurement. Now, hand till the elbow was used for measurement. In the full arm, it was used for this measurement. So these were the different units of measurement in ancient India, and all these altars were, based on those measurements. We talk of Samoa Sith. It is a square altar used to acquire cattle. Katurasa Samana Sith was again an altar constructed for attaining the place where the forefathers have gone. Ratha Chakra Sith was circular in shape, used for annihilation of enemies. Okay. Then this way we have different shapes, this Upsayana Sith, Chanda Sith used for the attainment of heaven over lordship of a region to acquire cattle. Okay, so for all these purposes, different pujas were performed. I have already discussed Vedic geometry, Shilpa Sutra. I've mentioned all these. Okay. Yeah, just a look on the religious symbols. When I'm talking of religion, I told you that we use mathematics everywhere. A small example of it is in Buddhism, the mandal. It is a spiritual and ritual symbol which represents the universe. Most of the mandals are square in shape. So again, geometry is involved with four gated containing the circle with a center point. Every gate is in the shape of an alphabet T, and mandals often show radial balance. Now, balance is required. This radial balance is required to attain peace, to attain spiritualism, to attain divinity. If the things, if the building, it is constructed unsymmetrically, if it is not following any precision, then it lacks divinity. It lacks symmetry. It lacks, the balance. The symbol of cross, which is what? Symbol of cross. It is actually the crossing of the two lines at a particular angle. It is the it is used in Christianity. It's a sacred symbol. And it represents an apparatus which is used in kindling sacred fire, or the symbol of sun, which is the giver of life. Geometry in religious symbols. In Western religions like Christianity, Judaism, Islam, the circumference of the perimeter, it is more significant than the center, because they all practice congregational or collective worship. Now, see, when the collective worship is done in certain religion, like in Christianity, in Islam, then it is the circumference which is of importance, or the perimeter. If it is a circular object, we talk of circumference. If it is a square, or if it is, the line diagram, we talk of perimeter. So there again, in order to have a congregational effect or collective worship, geometry plays its role. Primary requirement for religious ritual is to provide a space suitable for a congregation to gather, to pray, and to listen while a member of the clergy delivers a sermon. Even the Eastern religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, you can see the center of the religious structure is more significant as compared to the periphery. They talk of the center. The Western religion, they talk of the periphery, whereas the Eastern religion, they talk of the center, because the nature of worship here is different. In Hinduism, it's an ideal worship. It's a singular worship. So it is different. Now the center point, you can see here, the center point represents many things. I'll just take 2-3 more minutes to wind up. Okay. The center point here represents many things, like the center of the universe, or the point from which the God showers prosperity from above to the kingdoms below. When we talk of concentric, it's a very important word. It means one circle inside the other circle. This type of pattern is found in religious buildings, again to provide divinity to it. The architecture, religious architecture, it is completely based on precise geometry. Okay. You see any architecture, you see, the buildings, they have a particular geometric form in their architecture. The difference lies in the perception of the building type. As I've already discussed, that Western religions will have a different type, whereas the Eastern religions architecture will be more on the singular worship. Now, this is a picture of a Gurudwara. The dome of the Gurudwaras, it comes from the floral base. It has its top in the form of an inverted lotus, from which rises the Kalash. You can see in the picture. It has a floral base, in the form of an inverted lotus. It rises from Kalash, which has a cylindrical construction with some concentric disc. Concentric, one inside the other disc, spheroids, which end in small canopy with pendants in the outer rim. Total geometry in the architecture of the Gurudwaras. So why this particular shape only? You are looking at a picture and you can easily identify it's a Gurudwara. Okay, so again, it has its relation with the religious practices. It has its relation with the divine power. It has its relation with the, the spiritualism, the connection with the God. How much time I have? I think
Ma'am, we can wait for 5 minutes more.
okay. Okay. So I'll just, I also want to mention about the golden section, you know. Now, golden section, golden number, golden square, golden triangle. I don't know if you have heard about this, It's a very, very interesting topic in mathematics. Okay. It's known as golden section. And the other name of golden section is divine section. It was first used by a France monk and mathematician, Luca Pecoli. He used this word in his work De Divina Proportione, published in 1509 in Venice. Now, golden name speaks. It it is a work, it is an aesthetic guide in art. It absolutely governs the shape and disposition of drawing and paintings. It finds its importance in architecture. Okay. Now, what is it? There's a golden ratio. Now, if you can see this picture, Mona Lisa, this painting is considered to be very beautiful. Why beautiful? It is it is drawn taking the golden ratio into consideration. You can see the marking that I've done by using this white line, This is a golden ratio. It says a line segment that is divided into two segments, a greater A and a smaller B, says that the length of A plus B is to A is to A as to A is to B. Okay, see, it's a golden ratio. What is the basic behind it is, if there is a golden ratio which is being followed, the picture is symmetrical, it is soothing, it is beautiful, it is appealing. There are ample of examples, of paintings. There's a complete, Escher's art. Maybe we can cover it sometimes later. Escher was a mathematician plus a painter. So he has drawn his paintings following this golden ratio, and they are considered to be beautiful. So you know how beauty is related to divinity and it is related to mathematics. Now, I started my topic from altars, from Rangoli and to algorithms. So Rangoli, it is required to create symmetrical and visually appealing designs. It relies heavily on mathematical concepts such as symmetry, proportion, understanding. Okay. Application of geometry, Rangoli not only becomes a beautiful decorative art, but also a demonstration of mathematical principles, making it an essential component of this cultural expression. So in the end, I would like to conclude that religion and mathematics have influenced each other in great ways, and both have benefited to develop, grow, and flourish in the present form. Religion in general is a way to give an experience of this sense of thought, of the sublime, which lifts you right outside of yourself. So, as described by Herman Weyl, the spark of the divine, he has defined mathematics so beautifully, the spark of the divine. It gives the experience of sublimity, and it is used as a religious language to describe so many phenomena that we have around us. These are some of the references, the papers which I've studied. I was talking of the Escher art, a book is written by M. Escher, which is Mathematics Elsewhere. This is a very beautiful book, beautiful in the sense it talks of so many interesting topics. So this book, I really like Mathematics Elsewhere. Then I use some of the notes for my reference, Institute of Lifelong Learning. Then this ethnomathematics. Ethnomathematics is a complete different branch. Maybe we can discuss it sometime. And these are all the references. Even one book, this by R. Hirsch. What is mathematics really? It talks of the divine nature of mathematics. So thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was such a wonderful session. Now, floor is open for questions. If anyone is having questions, you may please ask. किसी का कोई भी प्रश्न हो, प्लीज पूछ सकते हैं आप. किसी का कोई प्रश्न नहीं है. ओके मैम, मेरा है एक. आपने उत्तरादि नॉर्थ के लिए बताया, ऐसा कोई साउथ के लिए है?
हाँ, ऐसे डिफरेंट डायरेक्शंस के लिए डिफरेंट फायर ऑल्टर्स थे. So, when we were, I mentioned one, Dishayan Seth, it was particularly pointing to one direction. So, there's an ample literature on this. There were different altars for, various purposes, for different directions, and for the fulfillment of various activities. So, है, ये भी इनका भी मेंशन है. पर्टिकुलर नाम अभी मुझे ऐसे याद नहीं है, but it is for different directions there are different altars.
Okay, and one more question I have. आप क्या क्लेम कर रहे हैं कि रिलीजन से मैथमेटिक्स आया या मैथमेटिक्स से रिलीजन निकला?
नहीं, ऐसा तो कुछ भी क्लेम नहीं कर रहे हैं हम, तो केवल इनका इंटरडिपेंडेंस की बात कर रहे हैं कि कैसे मैथमेटिक्स का जो ओरिजिन है उसमें रिलीजन का कंट्रीब्यूशन है, और रिलीजन जो आज प्रेजेंट फॉर्म में है उसमें मैथमेटिक्स ने भी एक इम्पॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करा है. सो दोनों का जो मैंने स्टडी करी है बेसिकली, और जो हम ये देखते हैं, इसमें हम ये देखते हैं कि दोनों का आपस में रिलेशन क्या है, हाउ द टू आर रिलेटेड टू ईच अदर. सो बेसिकली यही सब देखने की इसमें एक क्या बोलेंगे आप, एक ट्रायल है, एक प्रयास है, और काफी अच्छा ये दिख रहा है. बिकॉज ऐसा कभी हम लोग सोचते नहीं है कि रिलीजन और मैथ्स आपस में कैसे रिलेट है, तो मैंने इन दोनों को आपस में इनका एक रिलेशन एस्टैब्लिश करने की कोशिश की है.
ओके, और एक क्या उत्तरादि का सिग्निफिकेंस किसी और फायर अल्टर या यज्ञ से है? क्योंकि उसकी वेदी एक जगह आपने लिखा था स्लाइड पे कि चेंज टू काम्य अग्नि. सो व्हाट डज दैट मीन?
Kamya Agni is, as I told you, there were two forms of worship that were followed. One is the Nitya, other is the Kamya. So Nitya was the daily worship, the daily worship as we do daily, worship. Whereas Kamya is a particular type of worship for a particular purpose. ठीक है, जैसे अब आप कोई आपका होली डेज आते हैं, तो उस टाइम पे जो हवन परफॉर्म करा जाता है, दैट इज रिलेटेड टू काम्या. सो उत्तरावेदी, उत्तरायण सिद्ध, सिद्ध stands for the altar. It stands for the geometry that is involved in the altar. So Uttarayan Siddh is basically, it is related to the victory. Victory in the sense, Uttarayan, it goes to that if a particular worship is being performed on a particular type of a fire altar, it will give the desired result. So इसका जो उत्तरायण का basically डायरेक्शन और इसका सिग्निफिकेंस विक्ट्री के साथ है।
ओके ओके, थैंक यू सो मच मैम। मेरे इतने ही क्वेश्चंस थे, और किसी का कोई प्रश्न है तो प्लीज पूछ सकते हैं। डॉक्टर उत्तम सिंह जी, आप कुछ कहना चाहेंगे?
जी,
डॉक्टर
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैम का। और बड़े ही उन्होंने मतलब एक ऐसा विषय है ये कि जहाँ पूजा भी है, जहाँ हमारे धार्मिक विधि विधान हैं, और साथ में गणित के फॉर्मूला हैं, उसके जो हैं सिद्धांत हैं, उन दोनों को जोड़ करके और उनका अंतः संबंध स्थापित करना, ये वाकई एक एक जो है एक नया विषय जैसा लगा। और इससे हम लोगों को बहुत कुछ ये भी जानने को मिला कि हाँ, गणित के साथ भी हमारा कैसे ये जो हमारी जो पूजा पद्धतियां हैं, हमारी वेदियां हैं, और इन सब में कहीं किस प्रकार से गणित समाया हुआ है। तो मैम ने एक नया हमको कॉन्सेप्ट दिया है, उसके लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैं ज्ञापित करना चाहूंगा मैम का।
आभार।
Thank you so much, ma'am. To conclude, I would like to say your lecture was very much fruitful and learning. The symbiosis
you
of
so much.
religion and mathematics, as it highlighted that how both the realms from ancient ritual time period to modern technology today share a common formation of structure, order, and harmony. The
Yes.
use of symmetrical patterns in worship and mathematical theories of philosophers like Plato, who formed the
Yeah.
ideas of forms and
Philosophy, yeah.
derived his theory of metaphysical nature of cosmos, was very much intrigued and very well pointed out that yes, उन्होंने फॉर्म्स को यूज करके कॉस्मोस को डिफाइन किया है, which is very much right. I would agree. And to demonstrate how spirituality and mathematics together shape our understanding of the cosmos is a great attempt in bridging the gap between divine and mathematics. So thank you so much, ma'am. It was very
Thank
nice
you.
to have you. And
Yeah,
thank
and
you
it
so
was
much.
yeah, it was a wonderful experience for me also. It is like just that people who were not thinking in terms of mathematics and religion, now they will get a point, and maybe they will also start seeing mathematics in, different forms of day-to-day life. So
बिल्कुल
I'm
मैम,
also
बिल्कुल।
thankful to SIDDHAM TV and to the chairperson for giving me this opportunity to deliver a talk. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू मैम। सर्टेनली आज की डेट में हम लोग जैसे एडमिशंस लेने जाते हैं, दो अलग स्ट्रीम्स देखते हैं, मैथमेटिक्स एक अलग है और बाकी ह्यूमैनिटीज और उनकी स्ट्रीम्स को अलग देखते हैं। तो दिस इज अ वेरी गुड अटेम्प्ट टू एस्टैब्लिश अ कनेक्शन बिटवीन द टू, दैट रूट्स कहाँ से आ रही है। सो वेरी नाइस, थैंक यू सो मच मैम, इट वाज वेरी नाइस टू हैव यू, एंड थैंक यू ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स, थैंक यू so much, we'll see you soon. Thank you. See you again in other upcoming lectures in course series. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Uttam Singh ji, thank you.
जी जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सभी का। और आपने बहुत अच्छे से इसको ऑर्गेनाइज किया, उसके लिए भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all. Have a good night.